Hello, hello, Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia, guys, and this is Transurfing TV. And today on Transurfing TV, hot dog, I've got a good one for you guys. Oh my God. Vadim Zeland actually tackles in the Hacking the Technogenic System book the specific person movement, and I read through this right before I turned this video on, and it's a good one. It's really good. He pretty much goes about telling us exactly why, one, the specific person movement doesn't work, and two, what can happen as a consequence. So it's interesting because I'm just certain that the reason he did this is because he's gotten so many requests from people asking how to attract a specific person, as I have. I mean, it is really, really crazy how many people message me regularly saying, Renee, help me, I want to, get this person. And as Transurfing really tries to help us understand that when something's meant for you, you don't have to try to do anything. When something's truly intended for you, as Vadim says in the lesson, it will lean into you. It will be easy. And here's the thing, from my personal layer of reality and my personal experience, I've been on both sides of this specific person thing in a bad way. One, about 10 years ago, I attracted somebody using specific person-like techniques, and it worked. It totally worked. But at a certain point, the person was smart enough to understand that I did something, and people don't like to feel tricked. When I first learned of this movement, the specific person movement, I went and looked and did my research, and I actually joined a group just to see what the people were talking about. And oh my God, it was really scary because mainly women, some men, but mainly women, all trying to use this Neville Goddard technique of attracting a specific person. But the conversations that they were having were downright scary. And I thought if some of these dudes could see some of these conversations that these women are having, they would run for the hills. Well, in fact, many of them already did. And other women were urging them to keep doing these things and keep doing these things and keep doing these things. And obviously, this is like so anti-reality transurfing, it's ridiculous. So, and then on the other hand, I've been crammed into somebody else's visualization that includes me as a romantic partner. I can feel this stuff because I'm pretty intuitive and I have a little bit of, I think, psychic abilities, and I'm just hip to the game. So when somebody starts doing this to me, it's like, I run screaming for the hills. There's a better way to connect with the love of your life, and it's definitely not trying to cram somebody into your slide. Before I get started on this, remember to like this video, comment below, subscribe, all that stuff. Join us on the Facebook group. Bring conversations like this into the group. We love this one. And my courses, Reality 2.0 and Tufty 2.0 down below. I have a bonus course in Reality 2.0 called Becoming Magnetic. This is the real way to connect with your perfect partner for you. This is exactly how I attracted the man that's in my life now, and we have a really healthy, good relationship where nobody's running weird, funky slides on each other. It's pretty awesome. So if you'd like to learn more about that, check out the link below. All right, let's get right into it, guys. Chapter 4, The Lover's Slide. Is it permissible to put a specific person into a target slide? As you manage the affairs of your world sector according to the methods of transurfing, you are embodying all that you are determined to possess from the space of variations. This is no different than going to the store to carry from there to your house the things you need. The space of variations actually contains everything that can be embodied. That is, all that can be converted into something tangible. Tangible things are physical objects such as a house, a car, a yacht, as well as measurable concepts such as a successful climb up the career ladder or the revenue stream of a successful business. The space of variations is the store where all scenarios and decorations are stored. But is there anything that does not exist in that store? Yes. There is no equivalent space of variations for non-tangible things, such as your love or your hatred, your spiritual calmness or depression, nor for your joy or sadness. Now do you understand what does not exist in the space of variations? Your soul does not exist there. Do you know what the difference is between real humans and the space of variation characters you meet in your dreams? The difference is that, unlike humans, the personalities involved have no soul or awareness. They are just copy and paste mannequins or impersonator projections. For example, if you are a lucid dreamer and you ask any of the people in your dreams if they know that you are asleep, and that they have come to you in your dream, they will respond with only a dull and meaningless laugh. These mannequins are unable to grasp the significance of your questions. The characters of dreams act according to the given scenario, just like the characters of a computer game or the characters of a movie. They can only behave in accordance with the script that was written for that movie and nothing else. The variations and scope of these movies are endless, so the behavior of the characters within will align with the expectations of the dreamer. Here, the dreamer plays both the role of the viewer and the projector technician, who is the generator of the ideas. When the mind sees the vision in a dream, it then makes immediate adjustments to the scenarios using its own expectations and perceptions, and accomplishes all of this in the blink of an eye. As a result, the illusion arises that a person does not see the dream, but rather lives it in reality. However, it remains only a dream, and everything that goes on there is not a reality, although its existence at the same time is an objective reality, similar to the following equation. Cinema is an illusion, and the real is an undoubted reality. The characters there are not living creatures. They're lifeless copies. Okay, so do you get where I'm going with this, or where Vadim's going with this, rather? What happens when you put an actual human into your slide? In doing so, you are illuminating with your ray of interest a strip of width from the space of variations that bears the personality of this person, that is a copy of this person. But what's the point? It is itself not the living being, which does not exist there. You may think that you are communicating with the hero of the scene in reality, but you are not, because there is no difference than watching a movie. The same situation occurs in seances. Participants in such spiritual sessions assume with utter gullibility that they are communicating with the dead, that is, with people who had left our world at some point and now reside somewhere in the other world. But in reality, it is that those people with whom they communicate, so to speak, were not even born at any time, nor did they die on any given day. They are a dream vision character themselves, relics, buttons, or display tapes thrown somewhere on the shelves of the space of variations and still lying there. As for the original beings themselves, that is, the souls of the dead, they have been resurrected a long time ago and are in a new body, or they fly in areas that are only frequented by the creator. Oh, this is some trippy stuff, huh, guys? In principle, of course, you can display the slides in which you appear in love with each other. This is a scenario, so it exists in the space of variations, and it is theoretically possible to pull it out of the metaphysical world and bring it into the physical world. That is, convert it into a physical reality. But I repeat once more, the other is not a negative substance, but a living being that actively and vigorously fulfills its own intentions. Something may be achieved for you in the slide, but that will be of weak effectiveness because the living person is not stable in the space of variations and does not stop going here and there. As you try to cram the person into the slide, he quickly turns off and finds himself a more earthly partner. Okay, so what Vadim's saying here is the person within the alternative space or space of variations is not just in the space of variations behind the mirror. It's a physical person. So this physical person is actually moving around the alternative space the same way you are. You can't just grab a hold of them and pull them through the same way you could pull through a yacht or a house or a luxury car, because the person has an intention of their own. Luxury car, yacht, all that stuff, material things or concept like a climb up the career ladder, as Vadim says, those things do not have intentions, but human beings do. So the effect on people is generally contrary to the principles of transurfing. In the store, you can choose the merchandise you want, but if you try to grab someone by his arm and pull him behind you, what will happen? This is precisely the whole issue. The person may not be interested in the temptations that you are trying to impose on them in your romantic slide. This has happened to me, and it's kind of gross. Hence, this chapter can be summarized through the following points. 1, you must be aware of a very simple truth. First, if your other half has abandoned you, then this definitely means that it's not your other half. Think, can your other half, if it is really your other half, truly displace you? This is nonsense. But people, unfortunately, are not aware of this simple truth. Second, if a person leaves and goes, his recovery is impossible, and whoever sees otherwise is seriously mistaken. The issue here, too, very simple, is that any psychological reverse does not need a fence, and even if it is possible to retrieve one of them once, there will be no benefit to it. However, this topic is a different topic and we will address it later. 2, the cramming of a particular person into a slide is possible in only one case, if there is no other way out. Nevertheless, I think that you should not resort to this way, because the one you met is not your other half. And when you meet the person who truly is for you, there is no need to fight for him, because he will himself lean in towards you. And most likely you will suffer a lot if you try the first way. There is nothing worth suffering. You have to do the amalgam technique and the coordination of intention. So go and read it in the book if you're not familiar with that. 3, regarding the faults of your appearance, this is nothing but empty, idle chatter. On the contrary, such defects, which are not an integral part of the general criteria, give your appearance only more temptation. Do you think men only tend to have a toy look? Enough of the absurdities. You can completely reassure yourself in this respect and see yourself as a child who has just been born, as is really the case. Then others will accept you automatically. The world around us is simply a mirror. Okay, somebody want to explain that below to me in the comments, because that one kind of eluded me. 4, setting a goal and finding a partner are the two most complicated problems in life, and the rest is all trivial. It is the essence of the soul to love and be in love. It is often made possible for her to have signed her goal. but then it turns out that it was nothing but a passing whim. What is required is that one not fall prey to despair, but rather continue the search. And if he has the intention and determination, he will reach what he aspires to reach. 6, the most that one can achieve with a slide is to attract the other to the sector of his world. It is possible for you to meet each other more often, but it is also possible for the opportunity to create a connection. However, you will not be able to make the other fall in love with you by using slides. Rather, it is very possible that the opposite will happen, as I have previously mentioned. Their soul will sense that someone is pushing it into their slide, and they may not want that. I can almost be sure that they will not like it. Imagine that you are unconscious and someone is working to have you. But on the other hand, if you have a strong desire somehow, attract someone into your life and there is no other way, then you can go on this adventure as a slide with a specific person. You know without a doubt that you should do so with the utmost sincerity and tact. The point is that you do not allow yourself to be permitted here unless you are able to do it in real life. Okay, so what Vadim Zeland is saying here is don't mess around. If you aren't 100% certain that you can get that person, then don't do it, because then it's just creepy and weird. You're living some fantasy in your mind, you're repelling someone else metaphysically, and in the end, you're not gonna get what you want and you're gonna feel like crap about it. So make certain that if you go after some big game, you can take it down, right? Make certain that you can take it down. It is not advisable to cram a specific person into the slide because that is useless and may be counterproductive. A specific person can be crammed into a slide only in one case, that there is no other option. The only result that can be obtained from the slide is to attract the other person to the sector of your world. Okay, so use your natural qualities of attraction and run the slide that the person is going to appear in your reality more. Therefore, you have more opportunity to connect with them in a real and meaningful way. Just running the slide in your mind, creepy. Don't do it. It's not going to work. And again, like I said in the beginning of my video, even if you're successful, the person's going to wake up sooner or later. And then what are you going to have? When I saw the specific person movement online groups, all of these people in there, nobody had what it was they wanted. Everyone was desperate. Guys were running away. Women were saying, just keep trying, just keep doing the thing, just keep, do it. And it was really weird and it was really gross. And no one actually said, hey, we've been married 10 years or we've been married 15 years, because I don't think it happened. So check it before you wreck it, because it doesn't seem like that is a very viable option. Finally, it is not enough to draw a board to achieve your wishes only in your mind. It is necessary to be determined to achieve a result and to take steps that push you towards achieving the goal. Interpersonal relationships are the state in which one should communicate with a living human being. Use Frayling. You will find details about this in the Reality Transurfing book. Okay, so good place to wrap up. I will summarize quickly. Person is physical. Boat, yacht, car, house, material things, those you can pull through the alternative space. A person you cannot, because a person's intention keeps them moving around to different sectors of reality. You can attract them to your layer of the world, but then it is going to be your duty then to connect with them in a real and meaningful way. If the person is not interested, do not attempt to continue. What is specifically intended for you, things that are truly, truly for you, someone that is going to truly love you for who you are as a person, treat you right, be by your side, be your partner, be your romantic dream. You are not going to have to play tricks to get them into your reality. If you do that, then unfortunately, the real person for you is unable to connect with you, and here you are spinning your wheels with someone who doesn't even really want to be with you. So if you have found this video because of the specific person keywords and you are trying this technique to no avail, read Reality Transurfing Steps 1 through 5 and find a much better way to get specifically what is intended for you. Thank you so much for watching this video, everyone, and have a good day. Bye, guys.